Hey everybody, it's Daddy Guru from Casa Kama. How are you? Long time no talk. It's been a very busy week with the electricity being finally repaired correctly and up to code. We've had the backhoe here digging to create more farm tiers and to prepare for a greenhouse. He's going to be laying gravel here for the alternate driveway that you see on here, and right here we have our little mini fence, which will actually, I'll put a sign there. We'll put a sign there that says Casa Kama this way, because many people at the intersection get confused. But I'm really thrilled that things are coming along. I know that this is, I know that I'm on the back end of it, but as you can see, it's the cutest little fence when you come towards our property. And it still mirrors our logo of a lotus with a heart in it, and I'm really thrilled. I've spent a few days thinking about how I want to talk about trauma. And the reason why is because, I'm going to get in some light here, sorry. I wanted to talk about it because that is what a lot of us spiritual healers do. A lot of us holistic healers do, is that we work with people who have suffered a lot of trauma. And I'm sure that some people say in their heads, they haven't said directly to me, well, what makes you an expert in trauma? And I would say the first thing is that my experience with trauma is pretty deep. Everybody's is different. I wouldn't say mine is worse than anyone else's. That's just the journey that I took on. But I am able to give context to and feeling and sentiment and assistance to those people who have been either sexually violated or have been physically abused, and I have been both. But before I get into my story, and many of you probably who know me have known it, but I don't think a lot of other people have known my history or my childhood, I wanted to read something from, posted my very beautiful soul sister, Sufiana. Sufiana, I love you so much. And I don't know if you wrote part of this or you just took this extract from, I want to make sure credit is due to Jamila White at Inspired Jamila, Coyote Phoenix. And she wrote this: the inability to receive support from others is a trauma response. Your I don't need anyone, I'll just do it all myself conditioning is a survival tactic. And you needed it to shield your heart from abuse, neglect, betrayal, and disappointment from those who could not or would not be there for you. From the parent who was absent and abandoned you by choice, or the parent who was never home from working 3 jobs to feed and house you. From the lovers who offered sexual intimacy but never offered a safe haven that honored your heart. From the friendships and family who always took more than they ever gave. From all the situations when someone told you, we're in this together, or I got you, and then abandoned you, leaving you to pick up the pieces when shit got real, leaving you to handle your part and their part too. From all the lies and all the betrayals, you learned along the way that you just couldn't really trust people, or that you could trust people but only up to a certain point. Extreme independence is a trust issue. You learned, if I don't put myself in a situation where I rely on someone, I won't have to be disappointed when they don't show up for me or when they drop the ball, because they will always drop the ball eventually, right? This is me. This is me to a T, or at least what I used to go through, because when you become so independent, when you feel that you are the only one that can do it and do it right, that's why, is because people have let you down. So you don't trust anyone, and you don't trust yourself either to choose people. To trust is to hope, and to trust is to be vulnerable. Never again, you vow. But no matter how you dress it up and display it proudly to make it seem like this level of independence is what you always wanted to be, in truth, it's your wounded, scarred, broken heart behind a protective brick wall. Impenetrable. Nothing gets in. No hurt gets in, but no love gets in either. Fortresses and armor are for those in battle or who believe the battle is coming. It's a trauma response. The good news is trauma that is acknowledged is trauma that can be healed. You are worthy of having true partnership. You are worthy of love. You are worthy of having your heart held. You are worthy of being adored. You are worthy to be cherished. You are worthy to have someone say, "You rest, I got this," and actually deliver on that promise. You are worthy to receive. You are worthy to receive. You are worthy. You don't have to earn it. You don't have to prove it. You don't have to bargain for it. You don't have to beg for it. You are worthy. Worthy. It's beautiful. Worthy, oh, I'm sorry, and worthy simply because why? You exist. You are worthy simply because you exist. And I'll share with you, for those that don't know, my stories. So the first one is that I was physically abused by my second oldest brother most of my childhood. And this is not wrestling or play. This is physical abuse. There were times that he'd shoot me with a BB gun, throw rocks at me at the back of my head as we were leaving the bus. He spent many times just pulverizing me, holding me down, making sure I couldn't breathe, choking me, even in the family restaurant. And I was scared of him. I was scared of him for most of my life, for almost a decade, if not since I was born, because he was so angry that I was the baby and I took over his role. And I had to take that hate, that frustration, and worry about it every day. Even if he didn't touch me that one day, I was worried when he was going to come after me. On top of that, with my parents being so busy, leaving Mormonism and looking for truth, and it's typical Mormon parental attitude to turn it off, right? From Book of Mormon, the musical, turn it off, just turn your head and ignore it. And, I didn't have problems with him. I wasn't the only one that had problems. My sisters had problems with him. And no one would do anything about it. I don't know if they were scared. I don't know if they just felt it would go away. But it didn't help that I didn't have protectors in my life. And I let my parents know before they died. They were feeling very bad. I mean, they owned it, and we worked it out, and I worked through that trauma. But it created this kind of problem where I was very codependent. Anybody who said they loved me, I just fell for them no matter what. I had, one really terrible relationship where everything came crashing down through bankruptcy because I just let him control everything. And then on top of it, this idea that if I have to get through life, I'm going to do it myself and not let anybody help me. And I had a very self-deprecating view of myself, regardless of my looks or whatever talents I had. So there's that. And then when I was 25, I came out of the closet at 20, and that was a big breakthrough for me. I was very happy, and I was very free, and I was finding myself. And then this guy from Oklahoma, who was from Oklahoma State University, came into town into Salt Lake City when I was going to school. He was a male cheerleader, and he showed up at the local bar. And I know he put something in the drink because after a couple drinks, I blacked out. And next thing I know, I'm in his dormitory, I'm naked, and he's got me straddled on top of him. And I'm unconscious and in pain, extreme pain, because his penis is not a normal penis. It's curved in a different way. And I have to get out of there. I grab my clothes and I go. So I'm actually a rape victim as well. I'm not just a physical abuse victim, I'm a rape victim. And so in sharing my story, it took many years for me to process this, to actually admit, that, and by the way, I want to make it clear, I'm not a victim anymore. I was back then, right? Because I was feeling sorry for myself, and I was self-deprecating, and I was taking on all that negative energy and letting it block me. But when you go through the work and you do the inner work and you acknowledge the demons and you acknowledge the density and you realize that it's an experience that happened to you and that it's not you, okay, that's where you make the breakthrough. And I'm happy to say that not only have I been working in the last few years with my craft that was handed to me by my mother in the universe to work with people who have been sexually or physically abused, and to do that through my intimacy healing and energy work. Robert does it too, by the way, and Robert has some beautiful, beautiful Reiki to work with. But also, I'm going to start working with other creatives. I connected with a beautiful soul named Emma, who actually is in London right now, and we connected in Thailand, and she actually specializes in trauma, and I'm happy to say that we're going to try to partner up and create some programs where we can work with people who have been sexually or physically traumatized, or traumatized, period. You know, it doesn't have to be that. Trauma is trauma, and it definitely has a hold on your soul and your inner child. And if you can't get it released, if you can't step out as the third person, look at it and work with it, you're just going to be stuck all your life. I'm really proud of my life. You know, there was an exercise that we did while at the retreat where we have a person stand behind us and hold our elbows, and then you hold your palms. I can't do it because I got the phone and I got this paper, but you hold your palms open to your heart. And with the music, a beautiful swelling music, you just go into your heart chakra and let it speak to you. And everybody went through different experiences. Some went into sobbing, you know, which is good, it's clearing. Some went into great levels of joy. I went into this middle area where I was both elated with tears, but also I hit my inner, my higher self came through, and my life, like the Marvel opening where it like flip, 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 the pages flip, I saw my life flipping before me in like 5 to 10 seconds. And then I heard my higher self say, what a beautifully constructed life. Beautifully constructed because we choose to go into these densities. We choose these situations, okay, so that we can learn our muster. And I wouldn't trade it for the world. You know, I got a fly around here that's really bugging me. But you know what I'm saying? I wouldn't trust it. And so you need to learn to honor your densities, to honor your shadows, to honor those situations and people who have wronged you, or that did not turn out the right way, or that devastated you, or probably even changed your life. But you chose it. You manifested it. Once you own it, the sky's the limit. The sky's the limit. And that's what we want to do here in Casa Kama. We want to work with everybody. We want to support everybody, especially if you're part of the LGBTQ community. It's our time. We're more integrated than others in many ways between our Shiva and Shakti. We just have to work through all the 3D bullshit that we've had to endure since a child. And I'm happy to be here. I'm happy to connect. And if any of you wish to connect with me online, just to share a story, just to feel like you are heard, you're more than welcome to reach out to me. I'll make sure my information is on the YouTube page, should be on the YouTube page, so that you can reach me at my email addresses. I love you all, and you are incredible, no matter what your inner child says, no matter what your ego says. You are incredible, you are wonderful, you are lovable, you are worthy, you are it, you are the bomb. Don't ever forget that. And with that, I need to get back because the crew's coming. Get out of your head, stay in your heart, and we'll talk soon, all right? Much love.